Amsterdam, the Venice of the North, a city of canals, bicycles, and a vibrant artistic heritage. I could feel the energy of the city as soon as I stepped off the plane. The air was crisp, carrying a hint of sea salt and something else, something that smelled like freshly baked bread. I was eager to dive into the heart of Dutch culture, and what better way to do that than through its food? My first impression of Amsterdam was a fascinating blend of old and new. Modern architecture rose alongside centuries-old buildings, a testament to the city's ability to evolve while preserving its roots. The streets were bustling with locals and tourists alike, everyone seemingly caught up in the rhythm of the city. I knew I was in for a treat, a culinary adventure waiting to unfold with each step I took. Stay tuned, folks, as we discover the flavors of the Netherlands together. My stomach rumbled, reminding me that I hadn't eaten since the plane ride. Time to find some real Dutch food. I could already sense that this trip would be about more than just sightseeing. It would be about experiencing the true essence of Dutch life, one delicious bite at a time. Stepping into the Albert market was like stepping into a feast for the senses. The sights, sounds, and smells were overwhelming in the best way possible. Hundreds of stalls lined the narrow street, each overflowing with colorful produce, fresh seafood, fragrant cheeses, and tempting Dutch treats. The air was thick with the aroma of spices, grilled meats, and freshly baked goods. My eyes darted from stall to stall, trying to take it all in. Mountains of bright red strawberries sat next to baskets of juicy oranges. Freshly baked bread filled the air with its warm, yeasty scent. But one aroma, in particular, stopped me in my tracks. The sweet cinnamon-infused smell of Stroopwafels. I watched as the vendor poured batter onto a hot iron, then sandwiched the thin, waffle-like cookies with a layer of gooey caramel. I couldn't resist trying one. The Stroopwafel was warm and crispy, the caramel oozing out with each bite. The combination of textures and flavors was simply divine. It was the perfect introduction to Dutch street food. I knew there were many more culinary adventures to be had in this vibrant market. Next up, raw herring. Don't worry, I was hesitant too, but it's a Dutch tradition you can't miss. Okay, I have to admit, the idea of eating raw herring wasn't exactly appealing at first, but I'm a firm believer in experiencing local delicacies, even if they sound a bit intimidating. So there I was, standing before a fishmonger's stall, eyeing the silvery fish displayed on a bed of ice. The vendor, sensing my hesitation, gave me a reassuring smile. "Don't worry," he said in perfect English. "It's an acquired taste, but once you acquire it, you'll love it." He then proceeded to prepare the herring the traditional way: finely chopped onions, a bit of pickle, and a whole raw herring, held by the tail, ready to be devoured. I took a deep breath and went for it. The first bite was surprising. The texture was much softer than I expected, and the flavor was surprisingly mild, not overly fishy at all. The onions and pickles added a nice crunch and tanginess that cut through the richness of the fish. It wasn't love at first bite, but I could see how one could grow to appreciate the unique flavor. It was an experience I won't soon forget, a true taste of Dutch culture. My stomach was starting to grumble for something a little more substantial. Time to find a cozy cafe and warm up with some traditional Dutch comfort food. After the hustle and bustle of the market, I stumbled upon a charming little cafe tucked away on a quiet side street. The windows were fogged with condensation, and the aroma of simmering spices wafted out the door, beckoning me inside. The cafe was small and intimate, with dark wooden tables, flickering candlelight, and the comforting murmur of conversations. I took a seat and ordered a bowl of Erwtensoep met rookworst, a traditional Dutch pea soup with smoked sausage. The soup arrived steaming hot, a thick and hearty concoction of split peas, chunks of smoked sausage, and vegetables. It was the epitome of comfort food, perfect for a chilly day. The first spoonful was like a warm hug. The peas were cooked to perfection, melting in my mouth. The smoked sausage added a salty, savory depth, and the vegetables provided a hint of sweetness. It was the kind of meal that warmed you from the inside out. I savored every bite, feeling my body relax and my spirits lift. As I sat there, sipping on my soup and listening to the gentle hum of conversation around me, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. This, I thought, is what it means to truly experience a place, to savor its food, embrace its culture, and connect with its people. But the night was still young. Next up, a canal-side cafe and the quintessential Dutch bar, snack Bitterballen. Stay tuned. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the canals, I found myself drawn to a lively cafe perched on the edge of the water. The air was filled with the sound of laughter and chatter, and the aroma of fried food wafted from the open kitchen. I grabbed a seat at a table overlooking the canal and ordered a plate of bitterballen and a local beer. Bitterballen, I learned, are a quintessential Dutch bar snack, small, deep-fried meatballs typically served with mustard for dipping. They arrived piping hot golden brown and crispy on the outside. I took a bite and was greeted by a burst of flavor. The exterior was crunchy and satisfying, while the inside was soft and flavorful, filled with a savory mixture of meat and spices. The mustard added a sharp, tangy kick that cut through the richness of the meatballs. They were incredibly addictive, perfect for sharing with friends over a few drinks. As I sat there watching the boats glide along the canal and enjoying the lively atmosphere, I couldn't help but feel a sense of contentment. The bitterballen were delicious, the beer was cold, and the company was good. It was the perfect way to end a day of exploring Amsterdam. But my culinary journey wasn't over yet. Tomorrow, I was headed to Alkmaar, the cheese capital of the Netherlands, to experience the country's rich cheese-making tradition. A trip to Alkmaar. A short train ride from Amsterdam lies the charming town of Alkmaar, famous for its traditional cheese market. Every Friday morning during the summer months, the town square transforms into a bustling hub of activity as cheese merchants and traders gather to buy and sell their wares. It's a spectacle that has remained largely unchanged for centuries. I arrived early to soak up the atmosphere. The air was filled with anticipation as cheese carriers in traditional white uniforms and colorful hats arranged hundreds of round Gouda and Edam cheeses on the cobblestones. The sound of wooden clogs echoed through the square, adding to the charm of the event. I wandered through the market, marveling at the sheer variety of cheeses on display. There were young cheeses, aged cheeses, smoked cheeses, flavored cheeses, a cheese lover's paradise. I couldn't resist sampling a few, each one bursting with its unique flavor and texture. The Gouda was nutty and slightly sweet, while the Edam had a firmer texture and a sharper, more tangy flavor. I learned that the distinct flavors of Dutch cheeses come from the unique combination of milk, climate, and traditional cheese-making techniques that have been passed down through generations. It was a delicious and educational experience, a true testament to the Netherlands' rich culinary heritage, but my sweet tooth was calling. It was time to indulge in another Dutch treat, oliebollen, the delightful Dutch donuts. As my journey through Dutch flavors drew to a close, I found myself craving something sweet. And what better way to satisfy a sweet craving than with a taste of Dutch tradition oliebollen? These deep-fried dough balls, similar to donuts, are a beloved Dutch treat, especially popular during the festive holiday season. I stumbled upon a small bakery tucked away on a quiet street, its windows fogged up with the warmth of the ovens. The aroma of fried dough and sugar wafted out the door, enticing me inside. Inside, the bakery was a flurry of activity as bakers worked diligently, shaping and frying batches of oliebollen. I ordered a few, eager to experience this traditional Dutch treat. The oliebollen were served piping hot, golden brown, and dusted with powdered sugar. One bite and I was in heaven. The exterior was crispy and slightly chewy, while the inside was soft, fluffy, and slightly doughy. The powdered sugar added a touch of sweetness that perfectly complemented the rich fried flavor. It was the perfect ending to my culinary adventure through the Netherlands. As I savored the last bite, I couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey I had been on. From the bustling markets to the cozy cafes, from the savory snacks to the sweet treats, Dutch cuisine had surprised and delighted me at every turn. Now, it was time to reflect on the essence and heart of Dutch cuisine. As I packed my bags, preparing to leave the Netherlands, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness that my culinary journey had come to an end. But I also felt a sense of gratitude for all the incredible experiences I had had and the delicious food I had tasted. Looking back, I realized that Dutch cuisine is about more than just the food itself. It's about tradition, community, and a deep appreciation for fresh local ingredients. From the bustling cheese markets of Alkmaar to the cozy cafes serving up steaming bowls of Erwtensoep, food plays an integral role in Dutch culture, bringing people together and creating a sense of shared identity. I'll never forget the taste of my first Stroopwafel, the surprising flavor of raw herring, or the comforting warmth of Erwtensoep on a chilly day. These are the flavors that will stay with me long after I've left the Netherlands, reminding me of the warmth, hospitality, and culinary delights of this charming country. Until next time, Netherlands, keep those stroopwafels warm.